Continuing from the last class, today I shall be talking about the law of conservation of energy. This topic is quite important from the chapter of work, energy and power. Let us start with this particular topic here, that is law of conservation of energy. Now, in order to study this particular law, I'm going to use one example here. Now, in that particular example, what we have to imagine is that at a certain kind of height, a ball is being kept on a certain height here, that is over here. Okay? You don't have to think about this one, but you have to think about this one here. At a certain height, a ball is being kept on a certain amount of height, and the height is 20 meter. And the mass of the ball is 1 kilogram, and g, that is the acceleration due to gravity. Because whenever an object is raised to a certain amount of height, it experiences some amount of acceleration from the gravity, which we used to refer to as acceleration due to gravity, and the value is 9.8 meter per second square. But instead of writing 9.8, we are going to take this as 10 meter per second square for our own comfort. Okay, so we are going to go for it now. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what actually is law of conservation of energy. You will come to know by yourself the moment we are done with this. Okay, yeah. Now at this point, how many amount of energy present in this particular object at this particular point? What I will say is that over here, the total energy is equal to, how many are there? There are two kinds of energy. Energy number one is potential energy, and energy number two is kinetic energy, right? There are two kinds of energy. So now we are going to calculate. The formula for potential energy is mass into gravity into height plus potential kinetic energy is V square. Okay? So now at this point here, what is the mass of this particular object? That is 1 kilogram, right? 1 into, what is the value of G? 10 into, what is the value of height? That is 20 meter plus. If you calculate these three, what you will get? 200 plus. Okay? Is that clear? Now over here, half into mass is 1. But is it moving, this particular object? This particular object at this point here, is it moving? No, this is not moving. So we say the velocity is 0 here. Square. Now, anything multiplied by 0 is always 0. So we write here 0. So the total energy is 200 joule. Is that clear? Right? Okay. Now, in the second situation, what we are going to do, we are going to release this ball down. We are going to release this ball down. And it comes to a certain kind of point. Here, this particular point here. This point. Now, at this particular point, we have to find how much energy this particular ball is having. And the distance from the ground to that particular object is 10 meter. Previously it is like 220 meter. Now it has reduced to 10 meter. Now we are again going to find for this how much energy is involved in that. Let's go for it. So total energy, once again we are going to find total is equal to potential energy plus kinetic energy, right? Okay, so how much is potential energy? It is mass into gravity into height plus half mv square. Is that clear? So gravity is 10, height has reduced to 10. Now I'm searching for this one here. 10 plus half into mass is 1 into V square. Now this is the value we have to find. This is the value of V square. We have to find this value of V square. I'm going to use that, okay? Now, think about the motion which we have done before. There is an equation v squared minus u squared is equal to 2as. Okay? Now in this particular formula here, this acceleration will become the acceleration due to gravity, that is g, because this object is present at some height here. Now this particular s is the distance from here to this particular object, that is 10 meter, which I prefer to write this as h. Understand? And since this particular u value of initial velocity is always 0 here, because this we are going to start from this point here. So v square is equal to 2, right? V square is equal to 2 into how much is gravity? 10 into height is 10. So how much we are getting? 200 meters per second. Understand? Now this is becoming pretty easy here. When you multiply all these three, what you will get? 100 plus, okay, half into 1 into, for v square the value is 200 meters per second. So instead of writing this v square, I can write 200 here. Understand? So I can cancel this. I will get 100. So again I will get 100 plus 1 into 100, 100. When you sum up this two, 200 joule. Understand? So it's coming out to the same. Over here, the total energy has been 200 joule, and over here also, the energy has been 200 joule. Is that clear? Okay. So now the third point here. Now this ball reaches to this point here, this particular point here, where you see the height is somewhere in 1 meter or something, right? Okay, so I'm going to find now here again. For this, I will use a different kind of chalk here. Okay, so I'm going to use here. Okay, is that clear? I hope you all are understanding. What I am trying to do over here is that I am trying to take out the total energy possessed by this object over here, and this object when it comes down to a half of the distance over here, and this. So the total energy, even if you find the amount of energy present in this particular object at this point here, or even at this point here, or even at this point here, wherever you try to find out, the energy is always going to come around like 200 joule in this case here. So what does that prove here? When we talk about the total amount of energy present in this ball at rest, or the total amount of energy present in this particular ball at this point of height here, or the total amount of energy present at this point over here, or at rest. So whenever you try to find out the total energy, the energy is always going to be constant. That is 200 joule, 200 joule, and 200 joule. So what does that prove? This says that energy can neither be destroyed or energy can neither be created. Energy is always constant, just like the law of conservation of mass here. So in this, according to the law of conservation of energy, what does this say? That energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but energy can be converted from one form to another form, but energy can never be destroyed, or energy can never be like created or something, because energy is always going to be constant here. Is that clear? So this is about the law of conservation of mass, which is very important, but they highlight a very important point, that is energy can be converted from one form to another form. Is that clear? We have so many examples in our daily life. For example, the electrical energy is being passed into the into the fan, and they perform the mechanical energy of doing the work, right? The potential energy of the water in a dam, right? The dam water, and it flows down. Dam water, it flows down. The potential energy is being converted into kinetic energy, but the amount of energy present in the potential energy and the kinetic energy is totally same, that is constant. This is what the law of conservation of energy is trying to say. Okay. Okay, so now coming on to the last topic of this chapter, that is power. Okay, so now there are two kind of person here, right? And both of them were asked to do some sort of work. Okay, so now there are two persons here. Both of them has to move the same amount of stone from position A to position B, position A to position B, and you must make sure right now that both the A to B distance are same in this case here. Now in this particular case, let's say this is tangent here, and this is say dolma here. Okay. Now, when they were doing work, Tenzin, in order to finish his work, he was shifting his stone from this position to that position here. And how much time he took? He took like, let's say, 15 seconds. 15 seconds to finish his work. Okay. Now, in the case of Doma was also doing work, and she shifted her stone from this point to that point here. But surprisingly, like Doma, she's a very energetic woman, and she finishes her work in 10 seconds. Okay, so now when we see the amount of time within which they have done the similar kind of work, we will naturally say that Doma has more power to do the work. Understand? So whenever we talk about power, there are two important things that comes to our mind. Number one is work, and number two is time. So how we define power? Power we define as rate of doing work. Rate of doing work. Understand? Power is how we define as rate of doing work. If we write the formula for power, we write power is denoted by P. W by T. This is how we define. This is referred to as the rate of doing work. How much amount of work he can do, how much amount of work she can do in a particular given interval of time is how we used to define as work. Is that clear? So this is normally when we talk about the work, the unit of the work is always like joule, and the unit of the time is always second. So we also write joule per second is the unit of power, or else there is a universally accepted unit, that is watt. Watt is the unit of power. Is that clear? So this is the gist about the what do you call it? Chapter. What do you call work, energy, and power. There are so many other things we could learn from this particular chapter, but considering the medium through which we are doing this particular chapter, I am stopping this particular chapter over here, and I hope you all have learned something from this particular chapter. So thank you very much for listening so well, and I shall see you some other day. Thank you all of you.